Deep fly ball, a drive to center field. That'll get over the head of Robinson and all the way to the fence. Lorbeck drives the lane, puts it up, right-hand lane, gets it to fall. He'll go to line for one more.
Very nice take by Zach Lorbeck.
Trying to go around Engel. He stones him far side.
Point blank on Engel again, and he stops him.
Shotgun snap, Engel looking left, now looking right. Throw far side, throws a fade up for grabs. Hunter Beechler, far side pile on. He comes down with it. Touchdown, Bayport Pirates. Line and ball into left field, and that'll go all the way to the fence. Coming in to score will be Hilbert. Feed it in. Matty Ray, a right-hand lay-in and down.
Great steal by Ray. Jerks with a nice lob over the top.
Four skates to the near side circle, looking for some time. One-timer, Martin Suna. Knock off the water bottle. It's a one-timer and a goal, and the Pirates, they extend their lead.
He takes a swing at it. He'll send that one deep to right, and looks like that one's going to be a walk-off grand slam for Joe Byer.
And your state champions.
Your state champion.
Your Bayport Pirates.
Swinging a fly ball to center field.
It's over!
And that's it!
The Pirates win it!
Welcome to Bayport High School in the Howard Suamico School District for the Battle of the Bay Wrestling Finals. I'm Damian LaCroix. Great to be here tonight with Steve Lurquin. Welcome, Steve.
Hey, pumped to be here. Pumped to be here, man. Tell you what, it's going to be a fantastic finals.
Yeah, very exciting. You can't compete with these championship introductions. All the finalists are out.
Enjoying Bayport High School sophomore Bella Bryson and singing our nation's anthem, the Star Spangled Banner.
Stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight. What so proudly we hailed as the twilight's last gleaming, and the rockets bright clear, the bombs bursting light, give proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the
Yeah, we got that.
All right, finalists, walk to the middle of the mat, shake hands with your opponent, and let's get ready to wrestle.
Here we go, family, friends, and fans. It's going to be a great night of wrestling, Steve. Again, good to be here with you. Welcome to Bayport High School Battle of the Bay Wrestling Championships.
Absolutely. I'm honored here. I'm sitting with the superintendent of schools at Bayport High School, so it's kind of an honor. We all got to be on our best behavior.
Well, not that we wouldn't be otherwise,
Right,
but
right.
good reminder. Thank you.
You bet, Damien. But hey, here's the big thing is that this is probably arguably one of the toughest one-day tournaments in the state of Wisconsin. And many of these wrestlers we're seeing on the first place mat as well as the third place mat could easily wrestle in for a state title come late February on Saturday at the Kohl Center.
Top 10 going into the final round in 10th place of Ottawa, 243.
Yeah, they're reading off the team scores right now. We'll just cut right to the chase. You know, Bayport and Luxembourg Casco are locked. Just a 10-point differential separating them right now. Luxembourg leading the tournament by 10 with 460 points. Bayport right behind them at 454.5.
Awesome. Taking us right into 106 pounds. Go ahead. My apologies. I was a little bit taken aback. I thought they were going to do introductions here real quick. But Ben Bast of West Bend West and Jake Jandrin from Luxembourg Casco.
Yeah, Bast, a sophomore, Jandrin, a junior. Bast from West, 10-1 against the 12-0 junior from Luxembourg Casco.
it pretty much here, Damien, for the first place match here, we're not going to see any wrestler that wrestles in here that's not ranked. 97 ranked wrestlers coming into this tournament. It's just crazy. 9 ranked teams, so they put one heck of a program together, one heck of a layout for teams here when they invite them for this.
Yeah, to your earlier point, these early season matchups in many cases could determine seedings and placements later in the season. So every one of these matters, especially for those who are vying for a place on the podium down in Madison later this winter.
100% now, especially with that new seeding process. These wins all accumulate to what kind of seed you're going to get in the state tournament. So we are underway with Ben Bass, West Bend West, and Jake Jandren from Luxembourg Casco.
Bass, the aggressor earlier, going after Jandren. Tried a double leg takedown, but drove Jandren out of bounds. They're back to the center.
Only 8 seconds in, we already got some fireworks going, right? Bass watching him in the semifinals. He's quick to action, out of bounds. He's quick to action. In the first period, he had 5 takedowns set to go.
Well, he's definitely the aggressor here. Looks like we've got an injury timeout.
Yeah, Jandren, kind of a unique experience, Damien, here is that Ben Bass, in the semifinals, he wrestled Carson Blahoviak from Luxembourg Casco. Who's he wrestling in the finals here today? Jake Jandren from Luxembourg Casco, right? Luxembourg Casco entered 2 wrestlers into the 106 weight-pound division, and both of them wrestled in the semifinals. Obviously now one in the finals here.
Well, Jandren from LC is no stranger to the finals. He took second last year in the Battle of the Bay, so it has to be somewhat of a confidence builder for him to find himself back competing for the championship. I don't know that Bass, given his age, has that level of experience, but as a state qualifier, he's highly competitive as well.
And I got to make an apology, everybody. I've been calling him Ben Bast. Ben Bast we're going to see a little bit later at 120 pounds. This is Ethan Bast, right? I'm sure Ethan's going to be a little ticked that I'm mixing him up. Ethan Bast, a state qualifier last year as well. Got kind of a neat experience. Get to go down and wrestle with your brother. Wrestled twice, wrestled Landon Freeman, lost to him and Kale Zielinski, but obviously taking that experience into this next year.
Yeah, he's working a pretty aggressive collar tie right now and using that as a setup to shoot his low leg attack. Jandren fending him off.
Jandren, a lot of experience as well. He was a wrestle that did go to individual state, but did wrestle at team state last year. Luxembourg Casco, the state runner-ups. Ben Bass with 2 points.
Yeah, it looks like he used some form of short drag, from his knees to drag Jandren past, and Bass gets the early takedown, which is obviously what you want in this situation.
Just short of a minute gone by. Bass up 2-0.
Bass working a tilt.
Bass was in the semifinals. He just clearly dominated. Got a fall in the second over Blahoviak, like we talked about. Jandren, his road to get here, Damien, was a little bit tougher. He was he was fended off Hein 4-3 in the semis and a late scramble that both wrestlers were really trying to get in this finals, but ended up being Jandren that came out on top 4-3.
Bass working a tough ride right now on top of Jandren. He's got a 2-on-1 from the top. Got about 20 seconds left here in the first period.
Bast, like his brother, which could have been the confusion that I had a little bit earlier on. He's just he's intense. He's got a huge motor, constantly wrestling, constantly going, and you can see that takedown, working that cradle series. End of the first period. Bast will go into the second period up 2-0.
I don't know if you mentioned this or not, Steve, but I know you made reference to most of these wrestlers being ranked. My notes indicate, Bass is ranked second in Division I. Jandren is ranked second in Division II. So Bass scores a quick reversal with a switch.
Rankings courtesy of the Wisconsin Grappler. Does a pretty extensive ranking series there. Ben Bass with that quick reversal, and like we were talking about, the intensity goes right into that double leg ride, and he just constantly working on his opponent, breaking him down, keeping pressure on him, so that the bottom guy, that's tiring being down there.
Steve, how much of a factor is conditioning at this time of the season? It's early, right? A lot of these guys, have been cutting some weight. What are your thoughts on that?
I was thinking of that exact point watching the semifinals, and I thought how impressed I was with how in shape most of the wrestlers were this early in the season. Normally, you kind of get to this third week of competition of the season, and you see guys a little bit more tired. It's usually not until Christmas where they get in peak season form. Mm-hmm. But these guys are ready to go, and I think that is a testament to a lot of these guys are wrestling throughout the off season, through clubs and things like that. It's not like when you and I were in high school where you just wrestled during the wrestling season. It's expanded big time.
Yeah, it's become very specialized. Some startup clubs. As you said, these guys can wrestle year round, and others are multi-sport athletes. I think you'll see that as we go through the lineup, especially some of the bigger guys are playing football. Some of these lighter guys are cross-country runners also, just for that conditioning.
All right, blood time is over. Got a huge Bayport win over on mat 3, and the crowd's
on its feet.
That crowd's pretty pumped, and once it gets in track wrestling, I'll do a little update for team score, but I tell you what, that might make it pretty darn close.
Coach Shevchek is pretty pumped. So is Coach Heim.
Hey, check that out.
Yeah.
That pin put Bayport in the lead by a half a point over Luxembourg Casco. No wonder why the crowd was rejoicing.
We see some Pirate pride rising up here. That's pretty cool.
35 seconds left, second period. 4-0 still the score. Ben Bass with a pretty solid ride on top.
Jannern had a record of 36-13 last year as a sophomore. I'm sure he's looking to build on that this year. Trying to fight off a tilt right now.
Tilt with the roll through. 10 seconds left. It's kind of fun. Normally, a lot of times at these big tournaments, the team scores usually don't come into it, and it's fun to have a team race going on here during the individual finals.
Yeah, it adds to the drama for sure.
100%.
And Bayport's got 5 guys in the finals. I didn't count the number that LC has, but I'm guessing it's comparable to that. So this could come right down to the wire.
Absolutely. Jannern's choice. A little bit hesitant. Obviously doesn't want to take down because he's gotten ridden, so Jannern takes neutral. Passed in on that single. Jannern does a nice job. See how I reached down, grabbed those hands. Fends it off for a little bit, but Bass ends up prevailing to go up 6-0.
Yeah, back to the earlier conversation regarding conditioning. I remember legendary coach Dan Gable used to say that you win the first period on technique, right? You win the second period on conditioning. You win the third period, which is where we find ourselves on heart. So we'll see if Jake Jannern is able to dig deep here and rally. He's down by 6. It's gonna require quite a bit on his part to find his way back from this deficit.
And sometimes you're just outmatched, right? I mean, Ben Bass, highly ranked wrestler, a lot of accolades as far as his offseason. He's on a team of studs. We'll just say that, right? I mean, when you're on a team of, I think his teammates have accumulated 5 different individual state titles. So you're no stranger to intensity in the wrestling room. So we do have blood time again for Jannern. We have a minute left. Bassed up 6-0.
West Bend West has had a decent showing here today, right? They're currently in 5th place, 259 points, well out of first or second, but, respectable. Definitely in the mix. So
259 points and with only 8 wrestlers. So
yes, right.
You got some studs there. I think what's frustrating the Luxembourg Casco coaches a little bit is the ride of Bass. I mean, he's really intense ride on top there, but staying pretty parallel. Not really getting out to the side there. And I think that warning's going to come, and it does.
Yeah, you can't just hang on from the top. You've got to be working some sort of pinning combination or attempting to do that. And Bass, clearly, to your point, was parallel and didn't appear to be working for a pinning combination. We'll see if he does anything different here with about 30 seconds left.
Still up 6-0 is Bast. Yeah, looking at this match coming in, this is one that January obviously is going to have a lot of big things happen to go ahead and win this one. Bast just a pretty decorated wrestler. Bast looking back at the clock. Eight seconds left.
On deck at 1:13, we've got Tapir against Bayport. Micah Beckett against Owen Wafke coming up.
2 seconds left in this one. Well, I think if there's good news for Bayport in this one, watching the team races, they picked up a win at 106 pounds, and Luxembourg Casco did. So going into 113 pounds, Bayport will stay in the lead by half a point.
So Ethan Bass, the victor, 6-0 over Jake Jander at 106 pounds.
Which, Damian, bringing us up to 113 pounds. Owen Wathke, Bayport wrestler, a sophomore. He'll be wrestling well-decorated Micah Beckett. Micah Beckett was a state qualifier last year from De Pere. Bayport and De Pere, correct me if I'm wrong, because I know they've changed the conferences around quite a bit, but this is a conference match, is it
This
not?
is a conference matchup. Yep. Good rivalry. Wathke ranked 5th in the state. Beckett ranked 3rd. Good early season matchup for both these guys.
Micah Beckett to get here. He pretty much dominated Brody Collins of East Troy, 9-0 to advance. Owen Wathke, he was over honorable mention Jacob Hillshaver. Wathke wins, pretty much in dominating fashion as well, 9-2. So both guys in the semifinals dominated to get here. So hopefully we get a nice even matchup here.
Wathke on the bottom working a short drag, and Beckett with a head shuck, trying to finish. A little bit of a scramble here on the edge of the mat. No score yet. First takeout down by Beckett. Both are sophomores.
Micah Beckett, no stranger to the big-time matchup. Went to the Cole Center last year at the state tournament. Wrestled 4 times, lost in the blood round. End up losing 8-3 to Colin McDowell, pretty tough wrestler in his own right from Arrowhead. So he's got a little bit of that taste in his mouth of being one match away from not getting a medal hung around his neck.
He's got an aggressive armbar here. He's got Wathke on the ropes. Ref is down there, near fall points. 30 seconds left, first period. Beckett gets a fall. 28 seconds left, first period.
As far as seeding goes, this one finished up pretty much the way it came in. Micah Beckett, number 1 seed. Owen Wathke, number 2 seed. Which we'll see if they're going to pause for awards here or not. Obviously, with a quick fall, looking at the 3rd and 5th place matches, those two are still going on.
Yeah, not sure, Steve, that I saw a fall coming that early in this match. Beckett 9-0, Wathke 8-0. I expected a little more competitiveness. But as you said earlier,
Micah Beckett, I want a quick look. Doesn't say on the thing here, but I want to say he's had some, not national rankings, but he's done some good things at Fargo. Things in the offseason that.
Second at Freestyle State, right?
He's got it on there, okay. Bayport coaches over there are not consoling their wrestler, but letting them know, hey, making it to the second place, taking a second place medal at the Battle of the Bay finals is not a bad gig.
Not at all.
Not all right.
Absolutely. A lot to be proud of. Here's the good news for Wathke. He's a first-team academic all-state wrestler. He tells me he's a learner. He's going to take something from that match and use it to get better and come back stronger the next time he wrestles. So
he's got some book smarts is what you're saying.
Yep, and hopefully some street smarts, right? Combination is always a good thing.
Absolutely. So we got a little downtime. So I understand Damian, that you've had some state experience yourself way back in the day. You don't have to talk about what year, because we don't want to let everybody know that we're a little bit longer in the tooth. But talk about that experience a little bit.
Yeah, I had the privilege and the benefit of wrestling for a Hall of Fame coach at Fond du Lac High School, Larry Marcianda. Coach Marcianda from upstate New York originally, actually an Olympic alternate, a decorated collegiate wrestler, and really a legend. Even by the time I showed up, he started in Fond du Lac in the late 60s. I was able to wrestle for him from 84 through 87 and learned a lot about life, learned a lot about competing. There's just some great life skills that, as you know, Steve, you pick up in any sport, particularly wrestling, and had some really good individual success and team success, and the combination of those two is always really gratifying. And ironically, I wrestled to stay in shape for football, and
nice.
over time I ended
you
up
played football in college.
Yeah, was able to play 4 years in college. But Coach Marcianda, who turned 80 this summer, I had the opportunity to go back and celebrate his birthday with him. I went to the Packer Pro Shop and got his name on a jersey with the number 80. And
I think of James Lofton when I hear that number 80. But
well, I just figured it was appropriate for him. And he's one of these guys like Johnny Shevchuk, who just seems timeless. I was talking to Brad's dad earlier here, and I think he told me he was in his late 70s. And to me, Johnny was refereeing back in the 80s when I was wrestling, and he hardly looks a day older than I remember him from the 1980s. And so great experiences, and all of that gets applied elsewhere, right? So whether it's through family, marriage, raising kids, your job, showing up, overcoming adversity, working hard, setting goals, so many lessons. So this last match we just watched didn't end the way we wanted it to from the Bayport standpoint, but it'll work out, right? It's sometimes more than just where you register in the win-loss column, right? It's what you choose to do with that. So I'm confident Wathke will be the beneficiary. I see his coaches coaching him up right now. Coach Berner, who I actually coached in high school. I had the opportunity to coach at Pulaski High School with a Hall of Fame coach, Joe Kind, for several years. And Coach Berner was I had him in class as a teacher, and then I had the opportunity to coach him. He's a state qualifier. I remember that very well. Just a fierce competitor for Pulaski High School back in the early 90s.
Well, the losses always seem so hard when they happen, but really getting on the mat and competing is it's a pretty big deal, right? I mean, you realize that later when perspective happens, but being able to do this sport you're something special if you compete in this sport. But talk about your you got a medal. It was you said it was a 6th or 5th place medal.
Yeah, to get on the podium in Madison, you had to place in the top 6.
Wrestling back in the barn, which was special in its own right.
Absolutely. It was the old field house, the drafty, cold, dark field house.
I tell you what, though, people can say what they want about that. When an intense match was happening, you knew it and you felt it, right?
Yeah, that's for sure.
Well, we'll get back to that experience here because I think, actually, you got a little time. Tell us about your experience down at State.
Yeah, just a great experience as a senior going down there, and ended up going against a kid from Merrill who became the eventual state champ. Lost a close match to him in the second round, and then we ended up on the same team for the Minnesota-Wisconsin All-Star Classic, and ended up being in the practice room with him. And Laverne Voigt was his name.
Okay.
And I remembered, he had one move. He had an arm drag and a deep waist. And 2 moves, actually. We'll come back to that.
Yeah, you bet. Well, let's go to 120 pounds if you want to introduce the wrestlers.
Yeah, we've got Schlump from Bayport, freshman who's 6-0 against Ben Bass from West Bend West, a senior, 10-1.
Well, Ben Bass, just giving a little bit about his credentials, state champion as a sophomore, 4th place last year, probably one of the toughest weight classes there was down at the state tournament. So Ben Bass, nationally ranked 15th in the nation, going against the lowest Schlump. Bayport is, only a freshman, right? But WWF, which is freestyle, third at folk style, first at Greco-Roman, and second in freestyle. So pretty good wrestler in his own right coming in as a freshman.
Yeah, Bass gets a quick takedown right into a cradle. He's got Schlumpf on the ropes here early. Schlumpf fighting off his back. Schlumpf's really got everything, I think, to gain here. Steve, don't you agree?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you're going against a nationally ranked kid, right? I mean, what do? You as a coach and a wrestler, you just go out there and give it everything you have. You got nothing to lose, right? It's kind of the fun matches when you're a freshman. It's nobody's expecting you to do much. Just go out there and do the best you can and walk off with your head held high.
Yeah, Schlumpf, for a freshman, looks pretty well put together, right? It takes some time to develop and mature, and looks like a strong, competitive freshman, and he's scrapping right now.
Yeah, these freshmen are coming in built, man. I don't know where this is happening from, but
we were talking earlier about our new strength and performance room here at Bayport High School, and got to believe Schlumpf is a beneficiary of that. We had a couple of donors who supported the district and making that space possible. John Allen being one of them.
Lois Schlumpf, he won in the semifinals over Caleb Hillshafer. He did a nice tilt series to advance. I tell you, I wrote this down. I'm looking at a freshman. I'm like, man, this is a nice-looking freshman. He won by tech fall to advance into the finals.
Mm-hmm.
Beat a West Bend East wrestler who is a sophomore to get here. But we are 17 seconds left as the first period's winding down. That's going to be a caution on the top man. Moved a little bit too early, but 17 seconds left. Score is 5-0. Yeah, Bass, like his brother, I think that's why I had him confused. Very strong rider on top, and neither one of them are afraid to crossface.
Right. Yeah, we've got just a few seconds left here in the first period. Bass is clearly in control, but Schlumpf, down by 5, is working hard to stay with him.
Point flip goes to Bass. Bass does not defer, just takes down. See, a lot of wrestlers do that, like to add to that lead. I like some people like the thought process on, hey, I'm going to take the choice into the third. A lot of times I see a different philosophy. The philosophy is, hey, let's go ahead and take down, increase that score. Let's kind of break that guy. Go ahead.
No, I'm sorry. I mean, if you're the aggressor, right? You got the lead. You got confidence going into the second period. You want to increase that margin, and we see Bass doing that here.
And we know that West Bend West. Go ahead and Bass goes ahead and puts the Bayport wrestler on his back. Looks like he's got a 2 count. Now the count's going. There's got to be some scouting going ahead of time, and knowing that Alois end up doing the tilt series to Tech Falls guy in the semifinals, I'm sure the West Bend West coaches were aware of that and took down anyway.
Yeah, if Schlumpf can get to the next period, I wouldn't be surprised to see him choose on his feet. As a competitor who took second at Freestyle State and first in Greco, something tells me he might try to get a throw, given that he's trailing right now 10-0.
10-0 at the halfway point. Bass has got that nice, I like to see that. Goes right from one pin hold right to the other. Shows he's working on that top. More on the bottom man. Bayport wrestler's not rising up is what the ref's calling. Bass constantly working on top. 30 seconds left.
Yeah, well, talk about the importance of having a great partner, and I've got to believe that Bass and his brother are probably workout partners in the room. Talk about the importance of that.
Oh, it's huge, and the younger brother is the beneficiary of that, even though right now he doesn't feel like it. But when you're constantly getting worked over in the room and you feel like, man, am I learning anything? Yes, you are. But these guys, I know for a fact, wrestle in the clubs, and so they're not just getting good competition in the practice room. They're going ahead and seeking it out from other wrestlers as well.
There's probably some living room furniture over time that's been damaged, wrestling in the living room, right?
We could look back behind us or in front of us and find Mom, maybe pull her, get on the headset and say, hey, what's the most valuable thing these two guys have broke? And you called it.
Yeah.
You called it. The Bayport wrestler does take neutral.
We'll see if Schlumpf tries to tie up and maybe hit a throw. He's trailing 10-0, gets a takedown.
That was
so,
a sweet snap down.
Yeah, that was beautiful. That was textbook for a young wrestler. That's got to be a confidence builder for him. He's working an arm bar right now.
Or as Shane Sparks says on the Big Ten Network, those are heavy hands.
Mm-hmm. So 10-2 with 1:30 left, third period. Slump trying to orchestrate a comeback. He's going to let him go. He's going to choose both up. He's going to try to get another takedown. Maybe you can hit a 5-point play here.
And why not, right, Damian? I mean, you're probably not going to win this match, right? You're down by 9, but hey, you just took a state champion down, and why not go ahead and just kind of keep working stuff and end this thing with some momentum and be like, hey, I went toe to toe with a state champion.
Yeah, Bass is in deep on a double.
Nice, excellent scramble, takedown. Right
Slump does well to fight off his back and come back to base, trailing 13-2 now.
Slump is a good-looking freshman, I tell you that. He's, we forget here. I mean, we look at the score 13-2, but you do forget this guy's a 2-time place winner, right? That's impressive.
Yeah, Bass ranked number 1 in state as a senior. So, again, this is a good early season test for Slump just to see how he measures up.
He gets that 5 count, which is going to be 3 points. It's going to go ahead. If Slump does get off his back, it will be a tech fall, which means the match is over. Obviously, Bass wants to finish this off with a pin if he can. Slump wants to fight off. Right now it's pride, right? It's,
yep,
you're battling for yourself here. And it's
7 seconds. You do not want to give up a pin if you can avoid that. Appears as though Slump is going to be able to withstand the pin.
With a 6-minute tech fall. Bass looks in prime condition to make another run at that individual title again this coming year.
He looked tough. He looked like he was in mid-season form. He's hardly breathing, coming off the match.
It's a day in the walk in the park.
Well, back to our Strength and Performance Center. I had mentioned, John Allen and his gift. Also the Marlowe Family Foundation helping make that incredible space possible. And kind of fun today to walk in and see both the wrestling room, which has been expanded in the process, and the Strength and Performance Center being used by teams who are here today, and just being able to showcase what we can do through community and district support. Pretty special. All these programs benefit. It's not obviously limited to wrestling alone. We've got over 1,000 students a day who are coming through that room as part of the Strength and Performance program here. And so you talk about lifestyle wellness and talk about mental health. That's a great asset. I know coming out of COVID, that room really became a sanctuary for a lot of our kids who had been isolated and just were eager to get back in and develop a sense of community. So it's become a gathering spot in the school. And man, if you go in there at any given point of the day, it'll make the hair on the back of your neck stand up when you see kids in there really getting after it. So boys and girls alike, it's been pretty special. And Coach Westerman, and we got Coach Jurgensen, both teachers and coaches really working closely with our student athletes to give them a competitive advantage, not only in sports but in life. So it's been a great asset to the program here over the last year or so.
It's one heck of a weight room. You look like you're still in pretty good shape. You get in there and throw down with the kids at all yet?
Wednesday morning we got a group that goes in there with some coaches, and we call it weights and words, and we give affirmation to each other, and we get after it a little bit, and still try to get in there and stay fit, right? Here we go.
126 pounds. Tell you what, this is going to be a big one here. Kellen Wolbert from Oconomowoc, a freshman, versus Isaac Garabik from Luxembourg Casco, a junior. Now, you're looking at this freshman here, and you're thinking, the junior's got the advantage here, but Kellen Wolbert's the number 2 ranked wrestler in the state already. He has a very successful youth level. He's a Fargo cadet, freestyle national champ, 2022 folk style national champ. He's won the Northern Plains, second place at freestyle U16. I mean, on and on and on as far as the accolades. So far this year, he's already beat a state place winner. Number 2 in the state rankings. This can be a good match. He's going against Isaac Jerebic from Luxembourg Casco, ranked as well. State qualifier last year, the number 1, the number 3 seed, but this is a well-seasoned freshman here for Oconomowoc.
Well, you can see why Wolbert is so accomplished. He moves effortlessly on his feet. He's quick penetration on a single. He's up 4-2 right now, early in this match, and seems to be in command. Seems very confident in his abilities, and again, I think you really an underestimated quality of the. Wow!
Nice ankle pick,
that was tremendous.
6-2. I was telling Coach Woody, we were sitting right here before another 2 points should be, and it's not. Nice job by Jerebic. But how I said, not just physically, right? I mean, if you look at him, he doesn't look like a freshman, but also just the way he carries himself. You look at his face; he doesn't get rattled. He's just he's everything about him is he's not a freshman.
Yeah, and he can attack from all angles. Just hit a short drag from his knees on the mat, preceded by an ankle pick, preceded by a single. Now he's working, I think, a tilt here with about 20 seconds left. I suspect he's going to hold on to Jerebic and head into the second period with a 6-point lead.
Yeah, you don't see anybody in the second week of the season already become the second-ranked wrestler when they're a freshman, but he's one behind Lucas Peters. He's already beat Herm, as I mentioned, from Nina, who's the number 3 ranked wrestler. So, and I talked to Coach and said, sounds like Wolbert is going to be going down to 120 pounds. So, not only is he taking command here at 126, but look out 120-pound division because he's coming down there.
Well, and he could have taken the easy route out and just rode out the period. And he gets a quick tilt at the end, pad his lead. He's up by 8 now.
12-4 to start.
What do you do if you're Jerebic here, down 12-4, Steve?
You just keep wrestling, right? I mean, you're a little bit outgunned, but you got to just stay with your game plan. You got to keep going, and like you talked about in the last match, maybe try for that big move, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, I've always had the opinion of if you're getting smoked, go down swinging. Just keep battling. Wolbert goes ahead, gets another 2, lets him go, cuts him. 15-5 is the score. Minute 30 left, second period. That's as a coach, Luxembourg coaches, that's all they want their kids to do is just battle, right? And they will. One thing I've said about Luxembourg Casco is their kids enter the tournament season, they have 15 losses, and they're not afraid to go out and seek those losses. They go to extremely tough tournaments, but their kids are ready come state tournament time.
Wolbert up by 12 here with about a minute left, second period. He's got a great setup to his lower body attack. He works the head and then he goes low.
Wow.
Looks like you could get a fall here.
Bar arm on the left side, throws the half on the right side. I think either way here, this is going to be over. Might have another tech fall. Tech fall is, for fans watching at home, as tech fall is anytime a wrestler gets up by 15 points, which is the case right now, but they do allow the wrestler to keep working for the fall. Jerebic ended up getting off his back, so the match ends with 26 seconds left in the second period as the technical fall. So Kellen Wolbert, as a freshman, is your Battle of the Bay champion. Congratulations to him.
Yeah, early in this championship round, that to me at least is the most impressive wrestler we've seen so far, and chances are we'll see others, but that was an impressive display.
And taking us back to the team race here, we kind of lost it a little bit here. Luxembourg Casco has regained the race, or the lead in the team race, by 3.5 points. They're leading 464 to 460.5. Looks like, correct me if I'm wrong, a Bayport wrestler is wrestling down there. That would be for 7th place.
All right, looks like there's an injury on that mat as we speak. Coming up next at 132, you want to talk about what we're going to see, Steve?
132 pounds. I tell you what, the fireworks were 132-pound semifinals. There was a lot of action, a lot of activity going on. Aiden Crawley and Jaden Yelk end up wrestling in the semifinals, and that came down to 1-point match. A lot of intensity going on in there. Those two wrestlers know each other. the schools know each other, so some fireworks went down with that one. But Aiden Crowley, Brookfield East wrestler, took 6th place at state last year. He's qualified for the state tournament 2 different times. Ends up wrestling a 6-seeded wrestler coming into this, Owen Knoll from Bayport, the senior, right? Kind of out of nowhere. I mean, if you look at some of the wrestlers ahead of him, Cole Bazile from O'Connell Falls, Blakey Bastion from Luxembourg Casco, Jaden Yauk from O'Connell Falls. Just to see Owen Knoll right now wrestling the finals is big time, right? I mean, it's kind of like one of those wins within the tournament, but if he can come out and take a first place out of this one, this will be huge.
It's got to be a confidence builder for him coming into his senior year. He's 8-1, ranked 9th in Division I, so he's got a few guys ahead of him, but here he finds himself in the finals against Crowley, ranked number 3 in state. Crowley with a 12-0 record. Again, both seniors.
And Owen Knoll, right? Not a stranger to the rankings, the number 9 ranked wrestler, but Aiden Crowley, the number 3, he knocked off the number 6 ranked wrestler in the semis, but Owen knocked off the 10th ranked wrestler. I'm sorry, the number 2 ranked wrestler, Cole Bazile from Luxembourg Casco, to get here. So that was a pretty big win.
That's a big deal.
What Bazile did is he hit he won 4-3. I'm sorry, it was 4-3 with 40 seconds left, and Bazile hit a high C. High C looked like Bazile was going to come in and win the match, but Noel went off and he scrambled, and with with no time left on the clock, scrambled around, scooted his hips around. The ref awarded 2 to advance to the finals.
Well, it's exciting. We'll see if he can ride that momentum wave into the finals here and use it to catapult himself to the top of the podium. Owen's mom, a teacher here in the district, she's got to be excited. I saw Brenda up on the stage before, so looking forward to see these two compete.
So the superintendent of schools, man, I tell you, I wouldn't want your job. I know that, especially over these last couple of years. But I can tell you do a good job because as I'm walking around, everybody's seeing you and they're saying hi and they're coming up and slapping you on the back. So that tells me you're doing a pretty good job here at Bayport.
Well, we have a great community. We've got a great team, and there is no perfect community. But I always say you'll never find a great community without a great school system. You won't find a great school system without a great community. So they go hand in hand, and we know that when public education is working, our communities are better, and that's why we need to continue to invest in our kids and our program and our staff. And, we've been put to the test, the last couple of years, and still standing and really proud of our staff for their resilience and our leadership team and our Board of Education. We joke here that it takes a village to raise a child. In our case, it takes 2 villages, Howard and Swamico. So we've got the benefit of both, and we need it. This critical work, as you know, you're doing the same thing down in Fort Atkinson and invested in that community. And one of the cool things about wrestling, back to the earlier stories, coming out of college, going to Pulaski, immediately felt embraced by that community because such a strong wrestling community, wrestling tradition there, and very similar situation here in Bayport. You've got a number of families going back over time, so pretty special.
Now, speaking of that, you were in Pulaski. Did you take a lot of flack for coming on over here to Bayport? Was there any,
Yeah, it was a long time ago.
Okay.
I did initially, but that was 2002. So
because that's a pretty big rivalry too. I mean.
Yeah. We had some barn burners. I could tell some stories, but looking forward to this. It looks like we're about ready to kick off the 120 or 132 pound championship.
You kind of sidestepped it there. Did you have your? Do you still have some Pulaski gear that you tucked away? That's all gone.
That was all given away as I departed. But just a great opportunity to come here with a young family at a critical life stage, and really proud of our team and the work that's been done. We're not done yet. That's the exciting thing. We're halfway through a $100 million referendum that the community approved back in 21. So if you drive around, you see gyms going up and major renovation underway. And phase 2 of that, we're already looking down the road in the next few years, and board actively doing some visioning work as we visit other school districts throughout the country and the state, trying to get a vision for what's next.
So we'll go ahead and take a little, we'll go a little radio silence here. They're going to award a lot of different, I think 3 or 4 different weight classes as far as medals. We'll just go ahead and let the fans listen to the top 6 at each weight class.
Your runner-up, Jake Jandrin, Luxembourg Casco. And your 2022 Battle of the Bay champion at 106 from West Bend West, Ethan Best. All right, again, your attention to the award stand. Your top 6 place winners at 113. In 6th place, Nick Needham, Mukwonago. Finishing 5th, Michael Bostwick, Luxembourg Casco. In 4th, Jacob Hillshafer, West Bend East. Finishing 3rd, Brady Collins, East Troy. Your runner-up, Owen Wafke, Bayport. And your 2022 Battle of the Bay champion at 113, wrestling for the Pierre, Micah Beckett. Micah winning his 2nd Battle of the Bay championship.
Christmas Eve, my brother-in-law's in Fond du Lac. Christmas Day, down to Madison.
Well, Steve, share with our listeners a little bit about yourself.
Oh.
Probably new to the Howard Suamico community or whomever's listening tonight, so I know you've got a connection with Ryan Wellnitz, right, from college?
A little bit, right? I mean, I know this can be broadcast throughout the state, right? But I kind of picked this one up. I've always wanted to come to a Battle Beta tournament. I grew up just down the road, down Highway 41 in Wrightstown, so familiar with the area. My quick story is I've wrestled for Wrightstown, went to wrestle at UW Whitewater, wrestled with Ryan there. That's where I met him. And then I've been in coaching in one way, shape, or form. I was head coach at Cambridge High School, coached the last several years in Fort Atkinson, and now I do some refereeing and I do all kinds of broadcasting, things like that, and here I am, right?
Pretty cool.
Yep.
Nice you can stay with the sport in different capacities.
I'd never leave it. I love it. So that brings us back to our 132-pound championship with Aiden Crowley of Brookfield East and Owen Knoll from Bayport. Both wrestlers are seniors.
Right now on mat 3, wrestling for the championship at 132.
Crowley in on a deep single early. Knoll fighting it off. Crowley with a quick 2.
I talked about this a little bit before. I'm just impressed with Noel getting here. A 6-seated wrestler in a very tough weight class, right? I mean, we're looking over here to our left at the 3rd place matchup, and those are 2 state-level guys, state medalists over there, and for Noel to be over here on the championship match is a big deal.
Yeah, that's right. Brookfield East, not necessarily known throughout the state for wrestling. They've done really well in some other programs, and of course academically one of the better school districts in the state, if not the best. Talk about East, from down in that neck of the woods. What's your perspective on them?
Well, Brookfield East over the last couple of years talked about not having necessarily the tradition or the history, but Brookfield East did qualify for the state tournament 2 years ago. It was the first time ever in school history they did. So they're doing some things to take that next step, those next levels as far as developing the program. 46 seconds left. Yeah, first period still up 2-0. Aiden Crowley, no stranger to big matches as well. Sixth place medal last year. Ends up losing in the semifinals to Matt Haldeman of Milton, 8-1. But you're down wrestling at the Cole Center in the semifinals. That's a big deal. He's, like I said, he's got a lot of good resume. Does Aiden Crowley.
Well, Noel's goal here is to score a 1-point escape or a 2-point reversal in the closing 24 seconds. We'll see how he moves on the whistle here.
That's right. You got to get some points on the board. Kind of get that little moral victory as we talked about.
Almost thought Noel might try to even anticipate the referee's whistle and hit a quick stand-up or a switch, but wasn't the case.
Interesting here, we talked about Aiden Crowley. As the first period comes to a close, looks like Aiden Crowley's going to go into the second up 2-0. But we should take a look over on the third place match. You see that Quentin Wolbert beat Aiden Crowley last year for fifth place at the Cole Center for state. And those two just wrestled in the semifinals. And this time, Aiden Crowley comes out on top.
Yeah, interesting history. So Noel's on top. We'll see what he can do from the top position.
It's a good spot to be for him, right? He spent the whole first period pretty much on the bottom. But now let's see what he can do on top. Good scramble position, high hips. You want to get your hips high. That's a good spot right here for Noel. He's got those legs
working
split.
A tilt.
Yep, kind of like a leg Turk. If you keep those split, keep working up.
Missed opportunity. He had Crowley on the ropes.
But you put something in Crowley's head a little bit, right?
Yeah,
like,
that's true.
Noel can ride on top. He's got that deep, tight waist you can see on that right side.
Yeah, switching over to the other side, looking to turn a
tilt.
Look, oh.
Bayport likes those tilts, don't they? As I'm looking down the line here at the coaching staff. Oh, Crowley does
that's
get out
part of their repertoire. See Crowley with an escape to go up by 3. Minute left, second period. Crowley in deep on an outside single, bringing it up.
Yeah, because we talked about Schlumpf earlier, right? Schlumpf tilted his way into the finals with a tech fall, and now I'm watching Noel from Bayport working a cheap tilt on the sixth place wrestler in state from last year.
Yeah, he's been close on a couple of occasions. Little adjustment there, and this is probably a 5-2 or 5-3 match.
We talked about it before that Aiden Crowley is the number 3 ranked wrestler according to the Wisconsin Grappler rankings. Only Matt Haldeman of Milton and Brian Winans from Kaukauna ahead of him. Old Noel on that same ranking sheet, number 9th ranked wrestler. Going to go ahead and end the second period. Crowley is going to be up 5-0. Noel's choice, good call. Take neutral. See what you can do on your feet.
Yeah, I like that call. I think that's wise. He was both in the up position and the down position and didn't have a lot of success, and looks like he could score a 2-point takedown here with a snap-down spin around. Just missed it.
He's been close a couple times, right?
Yeah.
I did like him on top before. He almost got some points there. He's looked pretty good there. I thought maybe he'd try that again. And like you said, he goes neutral, ends up almost getting around for 2. Ref calls it. Looks like for blood. Maybe not. Not sure. He didn't indicate why he stopped it. Minute 33 left, third period.
Nice crowd here tonight, Steve.
Yeah, what's this gym hold?
Holds about 3,000 total. When we do graduation here, that includes floor seating. So okay. I'm guessing we're in the 1,000 to 1,500 range tonight.
That's a big deal. A lot of big tournaments going on this weekend. We got the Husky up at Eau Claire North, and there's another one. There's the tournament down in Sun Prairie, a pretty big one. So they got some three or four big tournaments going on this weekend.
Crowley with another takedown in the meantime and working a tough ride on Noel.
Crowley is tough on top. He's I've known him, watched him wrestle over the years, and top is definitely a strength for him. So Noel's got to get up, get out of there.
Yeah, that's not a pleasant place to be when you got a guy on top
right.
who can ride you hard. It's brutal, especially when he's got his forearm in the back of your neck and got your legs tied up. And
yeah, it's easy for us to say sitting over here, or if you sometimes you hear a coach yelling to his wrestler, "Hey, you got to get up!" And I always think of like, what's the wrestler thinking? He's thinking, "Yeah, no crap, coach, no crap." Right? Tell me something I don't know. I just like laying here on my belly. With 10 seconds left, looks like Crowley's going to go ahead and finish with a major decision. Winning by 8 to 14 points is a major decision, and Crowley's going to go ahead and take the Battle of the Bay title in 2022.
Again, Noel to find himself in the finals and to compete at this level against some really tough competitions. Got to be a confidence builder this early in the season. Coach Rathburn kind of opened up his hands as if to say, yeah,
hey,
okay.
Not bad.
Yeah.
Well, let's look at it this way, right? You're the 9th ranked wrestler in the state, which means, hey, top 6 is a medal. You start taking a look at the guys ahead of you. You just finished at a tournament ahead of the 6th ranked wrestler. So you might not necessarily have to beat Aiden Crowley, but you get a couple wins down at the Kohl Center, you walk away with a medal.
Yeah, he can definitely build on that. So good day for Noel, and better days to come if he can build on this success here today.
All right, 138 pounds. These are two guys that are pretty familiar with each other. They're usually in the same sectionals. We have Easton Warachek from Luxembourg Casco, a state champion as a sophomore, state police winner as a junior, going against Ryan Tomzovic from Seymour. And Ryan Tomzovic is a state medalist as well.
Both undefeated, both seniors. Should be a good match.
Right, like you said, they are familiar with each other. But here's what I've noticed. Issa Warachek, since he didn't win a state medal last year, he's been on a war path, right?
Well, he just had a beautiful double leg takedown to open up a 2-point lead early in this match. That was textbook. He glided in, secured both legs, lifted, and finished.
He tech-falled Ryland Schneider of... OS. I don't know what school is OS here. I don't remember, but
Oshkosh.
Yep. And I tell you what, it was just, he was punishing, right? I could talk about it. He's just on a mission. And he seems like last year at state, he didn't seem like the same wrestler he was as a sophomore. And this year as a senior, he's just kind of taken in his mission to come back and repeat as a state champ.
Yeah, that's hard when you've been on the top of the podium and then you don't make it back. It leaves a little bit of a sour taste in your mouth.
But Ryan Tomzovic from Seymour, the senior, had a great match against Reese Thornberry from Germantown in the semis. It was 5-5 with 30 seconds left. End up going to overtime, and Tomzovic goes ahead and gets a takedown pretty early to advance to the finals.
We have 30 seconds left here in the first period. Warchek riding a 2-point lead.
Out of bounds, 22 seconds left. As far as seeding goes, Easton Warchek, Ryan Tomzovic, number 1 and number 2.
See if Tomzovic can get a quick escape here with 20 seconds left.
I think the side note on it as well, and I don't want to say this too loud because I know I'm surrounded by Bayport people here, but neither Luxembourg Casco nor Bayport, who both have had several guys in the finals right now, neither one of them have won a championship match. Choice goes to Luxembourg. Easton Warachek takes down.
Well, to your point, going back to the team score, we've got Luxembourg Casco leading 464 to 460.
Oh, check
Do a
that.
refresh. Okay, with an update. We got a half-point lead.
Hey, this just in, folks.
464 LC over 463.5 for Bayport. So
Slimmest of margins, right?
a half point separates first from second right now. So if you're a Bayport fan, you're probably cheering for Seymour as we speak.
Oh, man. That's good stuff. Warchek goes ahead and gets 1 point escape to go up 3-0. He's in on that single. He's got it lifted up in the air. Tough spot for Tomzovic to be in. Goes ahead and takes him down. Gets the 2 to go up 5-0. Minute 20 left, second period.
Yeah, it's got to be demoralizing. You're trailing if you're Tomzovic, and you're hoping to get a 1 point escape or even tie the match with a takedown, and in this case, that wasn't the case for Warachek, who comes out and expands his lead to 5-0.
Easton, the Luxembourg Casco wrestler, like most Luxembourg Casco kids, they do a lot of top work. They're just hammers on top. You notice his right arm is always working that tight waist, kind of ripping in there. It's they are beasts on top.
Well, they've got a great tradition there, right? And Coach Shevchik came out of that tradition. I had the opportunity to be over and touring Luxembourg earlier this fall, and I saw their new wrestling room, and it's something to behold. It's state of the art, and both in size and quality of the mats and the flooring, and everything about it is exceptional. So, that community getting behind that program. So, see it paying dividends here in terms of some of the outcomes that they're experiencing, both today, but then going back over a number of years.
Tomzovic does get the 1 point escape. Scores 5-1. 15 seconds left. Second period. Going to the third period, it will be Tomzovic's choice.
I don't know. Correct me if I'm wrong, Steve. I don't know if I've seen Tomzovic take a shot here yet.
I haven't quite seen it.
He's been on defense the whole time.
He's going to take down. Hopefully he can get that quick escape. Reversal, right? He's going to have to start doing something quick here. There it is, right?
Yeah, you called it.
Get your one. I tell you what, I'm going to go ahead and take my 2. Now you're down 5-3, but Warachek, like a state champion, just goes right into a scramble position. Lifts that leg up high. I was thinking Tomzovic needs to get on top and see what he can do there.
Yeah, awkward position for both wrestlers here. Be interesting to see what the refs do with a foot in the face.
Yeah, well,
potentially dangerous.
All potentially dangerous. Warachek was in the best position there. They always say, whoever's butts up higher in those scramble positions is going to win.
Mm-hmm.
But this is where I want to see Tomzovic. I want to see him on top, see what he can do. He's in this 5-3. I mean, it seems like Warachek has controlled the whole match, but Here we are, a minute 14 left, third period, and Tomzovic's only down by 2.
Yeah, we'll see if he cuts him loose here in the next few seconds, if he can't orchestrate some sort of turn.
Warachek flat on his belly. It looks like when you see the ref, there it is. Ref gets down like that on a knee. Usually it means a warning is coming. Warning stalling for Warachek.
Just over 40 seconds here.
Either Warachek stalling or Tomzovic's got one heck of a ride on top, which is usually it's a combination. Oh, wow, that's a quick 2 points.
Yeah, that is quick. That makes the score 5-4.
And you know what it does? It allows Tomzovic to let Warachek go because now he's down by 2. He gets a takedown. He can tie it up.
Yeah, are you surprised by Warachek here? Seems like he's shutting down a little bit prematurely.
A little bit too early, right? State champ's got to know how to finish. 10 seconds left. Tomzovic's got to pick up the action. 5 seconds left. Working on in. Warachek knows exactly where he is. Notice how he sits on that line. And that's the tie. Our closest final yet of 6-4 for Warachek, the state champion of 2 years ago.
Yeah, close match. Maybe closer than
our closest final so far, but it didn't really feel like it, did
No,
it?
no. Warachek controlled pretty much from start to finish with the exception of the last minute there.
All right, going up to 145 pounds. Two schools that are familiar with each other, Kiel and Winneconne. We got Ian DeSellier from Kiel, second place medalist last year at the state tournament. Had a heck of a run, kind of came in, I don't want to say out of nowhere, but he just kept running to the state title or state finals and ended up taking second place to a Portage wrestler. I cannot remember his name off the top of my head. But DeSellier, great season last year. He's wrestling Aiden Hart, who took third place last year at state. As we're sitting here,
a flurry of action early in this match.
No points.
DeSellier, the Greco state champ. He's a junior. Hart's a senior.
I was just doing a quick look here to see if these two wrestled at state last year. I believe they were different weight classes, if I remember correctly. We check DeSellier.
Got a scramble here.
Got to be careful there. He's getting near fall.
Yep.
He's got 2 points takedown. He might get the fall. No fall. Okay.
DeSellier close to scoring a quick fall early in this match over Hart.
So DeSellier gets 2 takedown on a strange near fall position, right? Not your typical wrist half. Gets 2 near fall, and just like that, Hart ends up with the reversal. Hart, no stranger to being down. In the semifinals, he was wrestling Brunner from Pewaukee. Brunner was very intense. Went up early. I think he was up, I want to say 4-0 or 5-0. And I think at one point it was 7-2, but Hart just kept chopping away, kept battling back, and he ended up getting close. He tied it up, and they ended up winning it, I think, by 4 points. We got blood time right now for DeSellier.
Hart took third last year in Division II at 138 pounds, so he's demonstrated an ability to compete with the best. He's got a couple of losses this year already, which is perhaps surprising.
Who, Hart does? Yeah, they wrestled at the Early Bird Scramble last week, and he had 2, one was from Middle Point. I can't remember the other wrestler, but had a couple good wrestlers ahead of him.
DeSellier just hit a quick escape. Switch stand-up combo. DeSellier is showing an ability to have a burst, when he flips the switch.
Oh, there it is again. Holy cow. He's got just kind of a whip over.
Yeah.
With the 2 takedowns.
He's explosive. He's
and
got hard on the ropes.
Fall.
And a quick fall.
Wow.
Yeah. That was my point. Seems like when he wants to turn it on, he can make it happen. So
I think that's that switch we saw in his run last year in the state finals. DeSellier had exciting, it was a quick match, but he had an exciting semifinals with Gabe Galang from Wausau West. I think the Wausau West wrestler knew he was going to have to end it earlier or didn't have a chance. Gabe Galang came out and double undered Evan DeSellier. He looked like he was about ready to toss him, and Evan DeSellier, the state runner-up, said, "Not tonight." And he ended up going ahead and getting the pin. But it was an intense first minute, I tell you that.
DeSellier looked good. He was explosive in a couple of those flurries.
Evan DeSellier, the number 2 ranked wrestler. I am curious at that weight class, who is the number 1 ranked wrestler? Go ahead, Coach. Tell some stories while I take a look here.
Yeah, I'm sitting here next to my friend Chris Learman, who does a great job with our programming. So
typically the voice of Bayport
right.
Wrestling.
Kudos to him. He's had a busy fall following the Bayport football team and does a great job with our principal here, Mike Frieder. So is Mike Frieder in the house yet, Mr. Learman? Have you seen him?
Okay. He's out to lunch is what you're saying, huh? Yeah, so Evan DeSellier, the 2nd ranked wrestler, he just pinned the 3rd ranked wrestler, Aiden Hart. The number 1 ranked wrestler at the weight class is deservedly so, Owen Sefrud of Darlington Blackhawk. The sophomore, Owen as well, was a state runner-up last year at 145 pounds.
How are we doing, Steve, with our team score? Can we get an update on that?
Update here. Luxembourg Casco 469, Bayport 463. So it's widened up a little bit. 6-point lead for Luxembourg Casco with a lot to go, a lot of wrestling to go. Got a little pause in the action right now as they give out a few more awards. So we'll take a little chance here for a minute or two to go ahead and rest our voices, and we'll go radio silent as we get ready for our next matchup at 152 pounds.
It'll be a great one. We've got defending state champ Jacob Ward from Bayport, ranked first in state, undefeated senior, against Brett Skog from Brookfield East, senior, undefeated. We'll be back shortly. Well, Steve, you want to tee up this next match? What do you think?
Damien, do you like rematches?
I do.
Do you like high-scoring affairs?
I do.
Do you like storylines and intensity?
I do.
I tell you what, this is a rematch of the quarterfinal at state last year where Jacob Ward won in an exciting and impressive 10-7 victory over Brett Skog from Brookfield East. Go ahead. How did you say his last name? I like the way you said it better.
Skog?
Skog, that was it.
Skog, yes.
Skog, I'm going to go with that. I tell you what, this was, I remember this quarterfinal match, and all eyes in the Kohl Center were glued on this particular one, where Jacob Ward is no stranger to exciting matches. That was his quarterfinal match. He had a 7-5 victory over a very tough Parker Cradiville from Holman. And then Jacob Ward ends up going ahead in tiebreaker, 6-5 win over Cody Gable in the final. So Jacob Ward's no stranger to the high-scoring, intense matches.
Yeah, he's an exciting wrestler. He's demonstrating a capacity to win the close ones against top-ranked competitions. Got to give him confidence coming in. Here he is in the finals. Like you said, a rematch. So, what's going through Skog's mind right now?
Well,
what do you tell Skog if you're the Brookfield coach who's talking to him right now?
I don't know what he's saying, but I tell you, if you took the state champion 10-7, you got to feel pretty confident in this one, right? I mean, you're definitely not intimidated. You're definitely not afraid. You've already seen the guy at the highest level. So now it's just, hey, put everything you've been working on throughout the whole season, throughout the offseason, and you know what? Obviously, you want to win this one. It's not the state tournament, right? But these are the ones that you grow from. These are the ones that you learn from, so that if you go ahead and see Jacob Ward at the state tournament, you have some you have some film on how to beat him again or beat him if Ward gets the upper hand on you.
We've got to believe Ward's feeling good. He's got home field advantage, right? Wrestling in front of his team and his family and his community. It was nice to honor him. His parents came to a school board meeting during the offseason, and it was great to be able to recognize his accomplishment as best in the state in his weight class. So he was very thoughtful in his comments. So looking forward to seeing a good match here.
That's a home tournament for him. It's home field. Yeah, home mat advantage, right?
Now he's pacing back and forth with his phone. I don't know that I've seen this before. I don't know if he's texting or listening to music.
Ordering a pizza. I tell you what, deliveries are pretty fast now. So, I mean, if he has it delivered for 15 minutes from now, maybe that's the case. I'm going to go with that he's listening to music.
Okay, well, he's scrolling with a thumb. He seems pretty intense. So,
hey. He's a state champ, so go with what works for him, right?
You got that right.
Brett Skog down at state, he had a first-round win over Austin Lewis of Nina, 12-1. Did have that second-round loss to Jacob Ward, like we just talked about. Then came back and had 2 wins in a row over Eli Rabadou from Germantown, 9-0. Then he went and beat Gabriel Ramos, 5-2. Ramos is a very tough wrestler from Wausau West. Had a loss, 12-3 to Brett Bach back from Wisconsin Rapids. Back's an impressive wrestler. And then he had beaten Royce Nilo 3-2 for their 5th place medal down at state last year.
Yeah, so he showed some grit, right? We were talking about grit earlier in the, before we went on the air. You're reading Angela Duckworth's book right now. Tell us about grit.
Hey, grit's, I call it mental toughness, right? It's that staying power. Anybody can have talent. Anybody can, be good on paper, or that resume can be good. But as Mike Tyson says, the great philosopher Mike Tyson, and what impresses me is that this next statement came out of Mike Tyson's mouth, but he says, everybody's got a game plan till they get punched in the face, right? And it's after you get punched in the face is how do you respond. And Skoggs definitely has that grit.
Well, Jacob still pacing, no longer has the phone, strapping up the headgear.
I'm a fan of the pace. I like both these wrestlers have the pace down. This is part getting yourself ready, keeping yourself warm, but partly it's intimidation, sending vibes across the mat, and both these guys were sending pounds of intimidation across the mat.
Yeah, some nonverbal messaging going on there.
Jacob Ward beat Carter Lovey from West Bend West to get here. Skog beat, and it has a more impressive victory, beat Schutte from Germantown.
Finishing 5th from West Bend East, Liam Piankowski. In 4th place, Oshkosh West, Ryland Schneider. In 3rd
Both wrestlers still pacing as the officials are waiting for the awards to stop. Both wrestlers have their respective green and red ankle bands on. Red for Brookfield East wrestler Skog, green for Bayport's wrestler Jacob Ward. But both wrestlers want to get this thing rocking and rolling.
Yeah, they're tired of waiting. Let's get it on is what I sense they're saying in their inner voice.
On the mat right now, wrestling for the championship at 152.
Here we go.
2021 freestyle state champion, the 2022 state place winner.
It's a big match for Bayport, especially when it comes to team score. As you indicated earlier, I don't know that Bayport's won a match yet in the finals. So
this would be big on the team point score. What impresses me about Ward is he's always, I tell you what, he can hit moves from anywhere. He's high flying. He's fun to watch.
Yeah, he just hit a double leg. He posted it on his hands, switched off to a single. Hard whizzer right now by Skog. Surprised the ref jumped in and stopped it, but looking for some action. Jacob's got that longer hair. I'm not sure how much of a distraction that is for him. I see him kind of shaking his head a little bit to clear it away from his eyes.
And this might be a first for the finals. Both wrestlers have the same shoes.
Yeah, notice that.
Skog, wow.
Good flurry.
Excellent action from both wrestlers.
Well, Skog's not backing down, is he? He's going toe-to-toe.
Yep.
Positioning so important for viewers as it relates to wrestling, and trying to get an inside position, trying to look for an angle, trying to be a little bit lower than your opponent.
Well, 145 last year. Why would he back down, right? Because 145 last year was one of those weight classes. We did a preview on it on our Wisconsin Wrestler podcast, and really there were 6 wrestlers that could have won that weight class. That's how deep the weight class was, and that's how close all the wrestlers were. You throw all the bees in a hive, you shake it up, and out came Jacob Ward, wrestling very well down at the Kohl Center.
15 seconds left here in the first period, 0-0.
Whoa.
Oh, wow.
Nice Russian arm. Ref
Yeah.
does award 2. Jacob Ward trying to go ahead and do a Grammy to score here at the end. Scott's got a good crossface.
Wow.
Ward
Wow.
flips around,
Wow.
gets the 2-point reversal as time expires.
That was fantastic,
Excellent
Steve.
flurry by both wrestlers.
That was the best we've seen in the finals.
Wow.
Russian tie to a takedown by Skog, and then I think a switch. I don't know, it happened so fast I kind of missed it, but at the buzzer, Ward ties it.
That was pretty exciting. I thought Superintendent Damien was going to throw me in a half Nelson right there. We're going to have to call HR on him at the
Well, as you said earlier, you can leave wrestling, but wrestling can't leave you. So
Wow.
it's kind of infectious, and that was terrific.
You know, I think it's a different style matchup here, right? Skog seems a little bit more controlled. Ward obviously is not, right? I mean, he throws caution to the wind and just goes crazy. And you saw it right there, right? Skog gets the takedown. It's got to kind of control, but Ward says most wrestlers probably with 8 seconds left would just kind of shut it down and start game planning for the second period. Ward just says, "Nope, why not? I'm going to go ahead and try to score 2, if not more."
Yeah, hindsight's 20/20. You know, Skog may have been better off just cutting him loose and going into the second period with a 1-point lead, but I didn't catch whose choice it was here, Steve. Did you
I
see?
didn't either. I just know Skog went down, so I don't know if there was a defer or not, but Skog gets the quick one.
So Skog is ahead here, 3-2, early in the second period.
You know, Damien, there's those weight classes coming in where one wrestler's clearly the favorite, and you kind of know, unless something crazy happens, which wrestler's going to win. This is definitely not one of those weight classes. Ref with a quick warning.
Oh, wow.
Surprised by that, because these guys are pretty much moving all over. I don't know where that warning came from.
That's surprising. Yeah, they've been very active.
Right. I mean, you gotta give the wrestlers.
Nice low ankle shot by Skog.
Great.
Ward's in trouble here. He's got to get that head up.
You know what? Most wrestlers would be in trouble, but not Ward.
Yeah.
Right? Out of bounds. Back neutral. Just past the halfway point of the match.
Great action so far. See if they can sustain it. This might be one of those where conditioning makes a difference, Steve.
Yeah, especially like we talked about early in the season. Who's got it?
Ward's getting into some nice shots, but Skog's been effective in stopping him, dropping his hips and blocking.
Quick stalemate there. No action from either wrestler.
I'm just curious to see who gets back to center first.
Do you like that? You like to be that? Were you the first guy back always?
I was one that ran back to center.
Yeah, it's mental, right?
Yeah.
I always look for body English, right? Or body, not body English. What am I talking
body
about?
language.
Body language.
Right.
English. That's the same thing. English is a language.
Skog's doing a nice job controlling Ward's head and has used that Russian tie a couple of times to really get him off balance. Nice penetration by Ward. He keeps adjusting his hips and sliding in.
Yep. We're at the short time was where all the action happened last time, and here it's happening again.
Wow.
With the spin. Ward.
Wow.
No.
Wow.
Jeez. I tell you what. Why don't we just go to the final 15 seconds of every period here and just call the action from there.
That was dynamite. Looks like Skog's going to let him go, and we'll be 3-3 early in the third period here.
Yep, goes optional start. Goes in. Sees what he can get. He's probably going to let Ward go, but maybe try to catch him on something. Ward's so funky. I tell you what, he can just score from anywhere.
Now, funky's a good term. Very unorthodox, right?
How do you coach that stuff, right? Or how do you teach it?
I think it's a lot of natural ability for sure, right?
Hey, head coach Matt Verbatim of Wrightstown comes and makes a little cameo. Gives me a little kidney punch.
Score's tied 3-3 with a minute and a half left.
These two guys are fun to watch, I tell you that. I didn't even see it. Rankings, obviously Ward's going to be ranked number 1, correct?
Yes.
Skog is.
Another great shot by Ward.
Skog's ranked
working
5th.
hard to finish. Skog is doing a great job of fighting off those double leg attacks.
Well, no matter what happens in this match, Skog's going to move up in the rankings because he did beat number 2 Schutte from Germantown earlier today. Wouldn't be a bad day if you can knock off number 2 and number 1 in the same day, right? Or same tournament.
Here we go, a minute left. Scores tied, 3-3. This is where you want to pick your shot carefully, right?
Agreed.
You can't afford to take a sloppy shot here with just a few seconds left.
Especially for Skog, because like I said, Ward is just so unconventional. You take that shot, he's in deep, heads inside. Skog comes around.
Wow.
He's got the leg up in the air, but he's not safe. Obviously wrestling Jacob Ward.
Ward with a
He's got the
whizzer
backward
and
check.
a double
Gets the
leg by
two-point takedown.
Skog.
25 seconds left. Ward's up quickly.
He's got to get his one. He's got to get his one.
Peel
Here
the
we
hands.
go.
Ward back in.
5-4, 18 seconds.
Ward's
Ward in on a
Ward.
shot now. He's got to scoot. He's got to drive,
And
and
Ward
a
goes
double.
down. It's a takedown.
Edge of the
8
mat.
seconds left.
6-5. Bayport. He's got to hold him.
Bounce. Give us the reset,
Wow.
Damien.
5 seconds left. Like you said, closing 15 seconds of every period has been just tremendous.
The fireworks are about ready to happen. Skog's turns. Ward breaks him.
Ward holds on. 6-5. Wow.
Unbelievable.
Tremendous match.
You knew it was going to end that way.
Both wrestlers, excellent job.
Wow. Just
Well done.
Another day in the circle for Jacob Ward, right? I mean,
Yeah, very reminiscent of, that trip to the state final last year with a number of close matches. And again, you've got to have that capacity and that confidence to know that you've got the conditioning and the technique to score at will when you need to, and he did.
that's unbelievable. That was worth the price of admission. And I tell you what, I've been looking forward to this one. I've watched the semifinals of our 160-pound matchup, and you got Nick Alexander of Wrightstown, took 3rd place at state last year, was a skosh, right? We're talking seconds away from me in the state finals. And he's going to be wrestling Zach Elazewski from McWanago. Now, here's the deal. Last match, this was unpredicted. The last match had a lot of action. Both wrestlers here, Nick Alexander and Zach Elazewski from McWanago, both these guys like to go upper body, both like to throw, so we could see some action here right off the bat.
Yeah, Elazewski, to your point, from Iguanago, first in the Northern Plains Greco. Both of them are seniors. Elazewski from Iguanago, 12-1. Alexander, 12-0.
Alexander, Nick will be red.
Alexander's a 3-time finalist here in the Battle of the Bay.
Last year lost to Jacob Ward in the finals.
In the 2021 Battle of the Bay runner-up, currently ranked number 1 in Division I, a senior with a 12-1 record from McWanago, Zach Elazewski.
I was nervous we weren't seeing this right, and then I just got it confirmed by the announcer. Elazewski.
Yes. Well, Elazewski's got a really interesting stance. Very low, hands down, almost a 4-point stance. Defending those legs.
Yeah, Elazewski had a great semifinal match to get here. Beat Jake Stoffel of Appleton North. It was 2-2 at the start of the 3rd period. Both wrestlers went neutral, and some crazy fireworks happened. Went into overtime. 3rd period, there's a lot of scoring. Went into overtime, and Zach ended up getting the victory in overtime. So Elazewski in on a single. Alexander counters beautifully, scooting those hips around.
Winning the 3rd place match by decision, Colin Schutte, Germantown, 9-3.
Alexander ripping at that leg, but as long as Elazewski has that leg up front, he's okay.
Yeah, again, a real awkward position. Ref stops it.
Here I'm talking about both wrestlers like going upper body, and Elazewski goes and shoots a single on me.
Check our team scores, Steve, if we
Yep.
can, to see what the outcome of that Ward victory and what that does to our standings here.
Oh, Luxembourg Casco must have gotten some victories over there because it's 473 to 468.5.
Okay, still close.
Elzewski was in on 2, ends up getting it. Short time here, 10 seconds left. Alexander goes and cuts through.
Just looking at my sheets, it looks like Bayport has one more finalist. I don't think Luxembourg has any. Obviously, there's probably others wrestling back for
A lot of placement matches over
right
here.
3rd, 5th, and 7th.
Well, then we got 9th, I'm trying to do the math,
Sure.
9th, 11th, 13th, all wrestling here. They place everybody here at the Battle on the Bay up to, if there's 32 wrestlers.
Yeah,
they do
32
placement.
teams, big tournament.
Elzewski takes a 2-0 lead into the second. Alexander starts down, not sure if he took down or not. I know both wrestlers are pretty strong riders, so you don't see it often, but I can see both of these wrestlers taking top.
Yeah, Elzewski working a leg ride with a power half. Now he's got a deep waist, and
Zach Elzewski was a state qualifier last year, did not place, but he was 5th in state as a sophomore. Was a runner-up in the Battle of the Bay last year.
Alexander's got a 1-point escape.
Nice slide
Oh,
by.
wow. That was pretty.
That slide by is one of those moves that did not exist when you and I were in high school.
No.
And it really turned the whole neutral position, turned it up by storm, or turned it around. I tell you what, I really like it. I just don't know how to teach it.
Yeah, well, he executed it to perfection. Looks like he's going to cut him loose with a minute here with a 4-1 lead. Be curious to know who Elzewski lost to this year. I don't know if we have access to that or not, but
Yeah, if you do some talking, I can search and find it. I definitely have that ability.
yeah, 4-2 now with about 40 seconds left. Elzewski with a nice outside single, picks it up. Alexander trying to whizzer hard. Hand fighting is really important at this point, and certainly elevating the leg on the part of Elzewski, maybe even sliding down to the ankle. 15 seconds. Elzewski wants to finish and go into the 3rd period if he can. Oh, takes the head. This is going to be a 5-point play. A big move on Elzewski's part. Might get a pin here. Wow. That was a big turning point in this match. Alexander's on the verge of.
Alexander saved by the bell.
Alexander a little shaken up. Here goes Alexander's choice. He chooses both up. The score now 9-2. Elzewski from McGuanago leading Nick Alexander from Wrightstown.
Dang it.
We'll see if Alexander can regroup and get himself back in this match. Nice double leg takedown from Elzewski. Changes levels, penetrates, picks Alexander off his feet and finishes clean. Now working a deep waist with an armbar, pinning combination.
Well, this is understandable. I finally did find that loss. They had a dual meet against Homestead, and if you're familiar with Homestead at all, there's
Sure.
a young man there named Charlie Millard. And get this, as well as Elzewski is doing here, Charlie Millard tech-falled him 16-0 in 4 minutes and 25 seconds.
Wow.
It's like you think
Yeah.
you see
Yeah.
amazing wrestlers,
Right.
and then you realize there's another level out there. That's crazy.
Yeah, Elzewski working a tilt here. He's ahead 11-2 with just under 50 seconds left in this match. Barring anything unforeseen, it looks like Elzewski's gonna coast to victory here.
Ref calls a stalemate. Wrestlers walk back to the center. Belzewski goes ahead and gives him one. As far as Alexander goes, obviously a third-place medalist, and he was about 5 seconds away from being in the finals last year. You know what? Sometimes you just got to – it's not your day, right? I mean, even though you're in the finals of the Battle of Bay. Oh!
Ooh, wow.
And, but you might just chalk this one up and say, hey, let's collect ourselves and get ready for the next one. Because I was surprised. I did not see this coming. I expected this one to be a little bit closer, but
Well, I think that flurry at the end of the second period where Alexander found himself on his back shook him up, and it just was hard for him to come back from that. So final score 13-3. Elizewski from Aguanago over Alexander from Wrightstown.
talk about matches I'm looking forward to. This 170-pound matchup. First and second seed, Silas Daly from Plymouth, third at state last year, going against Caden Young from Shawano, the senior state qualifier last year, Division II and Division I respectively. Silas Daly as a sophomore really turned some heads. Not within his coaching staff or not the people that knew him, but he early on in his sophomore year started beating some pretty tough kids, and everybody started asking the question, who's this Silas Daly kid? And he went ahead and answered.
Yeah, he's the U16 freestyle state champ. You know, as you said, third place, Division II at 145 pounds last year. So he's up a couple weight classes, right?
Caden Young ranked number 4 in Division I. Silas Daly number 1 in Division II. 4-1.
Ranked number 4 in Division I, a senior with a 10-0 record from Shadow, Caden Young. And wearing the green ankle band, the U16 Freestyle All-American.
It's the first time I've gotten to see Caden Young wrestle live. I know his freshman year, or he was at Clintonville. Moved or transferred to Shawano sophomore year.
Okay. Well, Daly a junior against Young a senior. Should be a good one. Both of them are tying up, going upper body here.
Silas Daly coached by the exciting Andy Crivolone. Got a chance to get to know Andy Crivolone, had him on our podcast, and this guy is all energy all the time. This new coaching rule they have where you cannot get out of your chair, I bet you, is killing Coach Andy Crivolone.
Yeah, that's hard. That's difficult to adhere to. You know, as best I can tell, all of the coaches up to this point have honored that tonight.
They've been doing a good job. It's tough to change those old coaches, right?
Yeah.
Top 6 place winners, 145, 152, 160 reports in the awards area. You will feature medals immediately following these 170-pound place matches.
Nice shot by Daly. He's in. He's lifting. Looking to finish here with 20 seconds left, first period.
Good scramble there.
Good scramble. Young fighting it off. Yeah, there's definitely some freestyle experience on display there on the part of both these guys.
Absolutely.
Kind of interesting. Young's got his left wrist wrapped, and Daly's got his right wrist wrapped. So
one's going to go. Looks like second period, no wrestler scoring. Exactly what you expect between the number 1 and number 4 ranked wrestler in the state.
Yeah, from a strategy standpoint, Steve, I think you always want to score that first takedown, right? You want to have a lead going into the second period if you can. You want to give yourself some options, especially with the coin flip. This changes strategy a little bit, perhaps. Play to your strengths.
I believe Plymouth defer. That should be potentially dangerous. It is. Yep. Can't have leg right in and be neutral or come up off the mat. The refs would call that potentially dangerous. Caden Young last year at the state tournament ended up losing in the blood round, so he was one match away from getting a medal at the state tournament. Ended up beating Jack Gillis from New Berlin West, Eisenhower in round 1, 8-6. Lost to Noel Mulvaney in the quarterfinals, and then beat a Muskego wrestler and then lost to Travis Moore of Union Grove 9-2 in that medal match.
Yeah, so Young's got to be hungry, right? He's a senior, came close last year, undefeated at this point.
And Silas Daly, I think last year, here's where people really started to know the name Silas Daly, if they didn't know it before. Had a round win against Alaric Muckerheide from Sheboygan Falls, but this was the match. Devin Wasley, who was a Division I recruit, Silas Daly went toe-to-toe with them in the semifinals and lost 2-1, almost had the victory, and that's where people realized how good Silas Daly was. But
well, he's a tough rider right now. He's got a leg ride in, working some sort of tilt. Young has not been able to get back to his base position. 30 seconds left here, second period. Score is still 0-0.
Silas Daly with the ride here. 20 seconds left in the second period. You know, he might not score here. Obviously, he's bringing that arm behind, but this is big. If he keeps Young down and doesn't allow him to score, a lot of times wrestlers take down, they can go ahead and get out.
Yeah.
If Daly ends up going into the third period 0-0, that's a huge win for Silas Daly.
You can ride someone out for 2 minutes in this day and age. That's saying a lot, right?
And it's taking a lot out on Caden Young. Silas Daly takes down. Young's going to go ahead and let him go already.
Yeah, I think to your point, he's breathing pretty hard.
I thought I saw him go ahead. And, no, maybe he was just talking to his coaches. I thought he indicated neutral. Maybe his coaches are saying, why don't you try riding him a little bit? And 4 seconds into it, he says, that's enough. Going to go ahead and give him one. Daly
nice
in
shot
on that
by Daly.
sweep single.
Yeah, it was beautiful. Moving him, looking to get a leg sweep. Tripping him and securing the takedown, 2-0.
You notice the new rule is this. You know, Silas Daly's two knees were in. Now the left knee just slid out. So then they're out of bounds. That's the out of bounds rule. If two supporting points are in,
got it.
They allow you to continue to wrestle.
3-0 Daly in front of Young. Minute 30 left, third period. Luxembourg over on
Luxembourg
the
and
map
Bayport.
next
That's big for the team race, right?
Yep, not good. Bayport's on his back right now. Luxembourg going for a pin.
Caden Young gets the quick one. I looked over on my third place match, so I didn't quite see if he let him go or if Caden Young earned the one. But we're approaching the 1 minute left of the third period. Scores 3-1.
Well, Young's got to get busy here. I don't know that he's taken a shot in the match yet, and he needs to move Daly and create some angles and attempt a shot.
Caden Young, did you see in there? Is he a little bit more Greco? Yes, he is. That explains it. If you notice his stance, it's a little bit more square.
Right.
He's kind of looking to catch.
I don't think Daly's going to give him the opportunity to double underhook and set up any type of throw opportunity, but we'll see. Just over 30 seconds remaining in the match. 3-1, Daly.
And Daly doesn't have to push the action right there. You see that Greco from Caden Young comes out in. He's looking for that over-under. Oh, he tries the law. It says Daly.
He forced it.
He lowers his hips.
2 points.
Gets the 2. And Silas Daly's upset right there, and I think he's got a reason to be. With the new rule, his knees were in. The ref should allow the action to continue and started counting.
Right. Yeah, Daly wanted near fall points.
Always the aggressor. Daly looks like he's in trouble here. Caden Young has a Peterson. Nope, not locked up. Obviously not awarded.
5 seconds. We'll see if
Caden Young's got a cradle locked up.
Daly can hang on.
Should be 2. Gets the reversal.
Okay, flurry at the end.
Flurry at
Made
the
it
end,
closer, but
a little bit too little, too late.
Yeah. 5-3 Daly over Young.
That was interesting there. I thought he kind of had that Peterson a little bit, and if the ref would have awarded 2, he could have started counting near fall, but he did not in that particular case.
I did not catch the outcome of the LC Bayport match.
I didn't either, but I can probably tell you with a refreshment, not that kind of refreshment, but a refreshing of the team score here. So 74-73 That would have been won by Luxembourg Casco. So now it's 477 to 468.5. It's like a 8.5 point lead.
Yeah, LC expanding on that lead.
Well, here's on paper probably the biggest match we're going to see here tonight. This is the one where a lot of times tournaments, what they do is they'll put a certain weight class last, and if that would have occurred, and it didn't in this tournament for many different reasons, but if it did occur, people wanted it this particular match right here, and here's why. Connor Mirasola from West Bend West, a junior, 2 state appearances, 2 state championships, right? Ethan Riddle from Germantown last year at 100, I can't remember the weight class. I want to say 170 pounds. He was a state champ. So at the Battle in the Bay, I don't know if it's happened before, but we have 2 returning state champs that are going for the title at 182 pounds.
Yeah, Riddle from Germantown, a senior with an 11-0 record, ranked number 3 in state. He's committed to the University of Minnesota. Of course, Connor Mirasola, as you said, ranked number 1 in state, West Bend West, a junior. And a long list of accomplishments. It'll be a great match. Mirazola's 10-1. Riddle's 11-0.
Yeah, Mirasola. The Mirasola brothers are going to see his twin brother here in a little bit. Have not committed their college yet, just juniors. Ethan Riddle was a 160-pound state champ last year. Beat Ott from Nicolay in the finals. Braden Ott. By a score of 10-5. So, like I said, Mirasola was a 182-pound state champ. Ethan Riddle, 160-pound state champ.
Well, as they say, some fur could fly, right?
Absolutely. Where did you say Ethan Riddle committed to? Minnesota?
University of Minnesota.
All right, now on the podium, your top 6 is 152. Finishing 6 from Oconomowoc.
Well, we'll go ahead and go radio silent here while they do the awards.
Finishing 4th from West Bend West, Carter Mooney. Finishing 3rd from Germantown, Talon Shirley. Your runner-up for Brookfield East, Brent Scott. And your 2022 Battle of the Bay champion from Bayport, winning his 2nd Battle of the Bay championship, Jacob Ward.
Ryan's watching and listening.
Yeah, he gave him a thumbs up. That's good. Ryan Werner was walking out and he goes, "Hey, I'm leaving, but I'm gonna go home and girlfriend, I'm gonna watch this. I'm gonna live stream." I'm like, "Yeah, I'm sure your girlfriend will love that." I'm gone all day.
Were you listening to that one football game? He messaged in, Chance and I are watching it. And Mike turned it into, they're having a steak dinner, just the 2 of them. And it turned into, obviously, you want to give a few details when you message us.
Right. Yeah. That's why I never message you guys.
It's wise.
All right, we're back. And some awards still being handed out. But, we've got Riddle and Mirasola pacing back and forth.
The standoff, right?
Yeah.
Ethan Riddle, the number 2 seed from Germantown, to get here beat Hayden Chitwood, a pretty darn good wrestler in his own right from Iguanago, by a major decision, scored 15-3. Connor Mirasola, the junior from West Bend West, beat another really good wrestler, Trace Schoenbeck from Luxembourg's Casco by tech fall. So both these guys to get here, the state champions, made quick work, or I want to say quick work, but easier work of 2 pretty solid wrestlers in the semis.
Yeah, so Steve, talk about the psychology of winning here. What's going through these guys' head as we speak?
Both these guys are state champs, right?
Yep.
So I think there's a lot of pride on the line. I imagine it's both wrestlers want to represent and say their state championship was I don't want to say legit, but at separate weight classes, like, hey, let's put on the line here.
State qualifier and a 2022 state champion, undefeated last week in the Blacksmith Duels.
Mirasola with a low double leg takedown. He kind of had the right leg wrapped up and it did a low ankle on the other. And
that was beautiful. Changed his level, penetrated.
In on the cradle.
That was a nice setup, right? I think Riddle thought he was going to cut him loose, and he just locked in on a near side cradle. He's got Riddle on the ropes right now. He could get a fall here.
Fall.
Wow. This is a surprise.
I didn't want to say this beforehand, but the Mirasola brothers are just kind of one of those wrestlers where they're.
Well, he made that look easy.
Yep.
That was.
They're state champs, but they're just a cut above, right?
Well, that was impressive, and his reaction at the end says a lot too, right? When I talked about the psychology of winning, Mirasola expected that, right? And you see it by his reaction.
100%.
He's been there.
Yeah, these guys, everybody's waiting for their commitment. The brothers, I don't know if they're going to go to the same school or not, but they're definitely going somewhere big, Division I.
Yeah, Mirasola, 3-time freestyle state champ. Impressive. Well, a little break in the action here as we wait for the next match at 195 pounds. Cole Mirasola, Connor's brother, coming up. He's a junior also, 9-1, ranked first in state from West Bend West. Took second at the Dan Gable Donnybrook State Tournament of History, fifth at 182 pounds in 2021. State champ 2022 at 195 pounds. He's a UWW Cadet All-American. So a lot of great experience under Cole Mirazola's belt. And as I was saying to Steve earlier, just the benefit of having someone in the wrestling room that can push you to the limit every day is really an asset. Mirasola is going to be facing Ben Kienbaum from Kiel, another Kiel wrestler, ranked 8th in state. He's a sophomore. Current record is 11-0. Kienbaum was a state qualifier in 2022, so doesn't quite have the resume of Cole Mirasola, so it'll be interesting. On paper, at least, Kienbaum's got everything to gain as he faces Cole Mirasola. Cole, of course, trying to match his brother's impressive victory. Just took place at 182 pounds, a first period pin. Connor Mirasola really dispensing of Ethan Riddle without much difficulty in a first period fall. So hang tight, friends. We're in for a good one as we look at the remaining matches at 195, 220, and then the big boys, 285. Looking forward to seeing Vaughn Campbell from Bayport take on Troy Dietzler from Ashwaubenon. We'll be right back. Thank you.
All right, here we go. Finishing up some action in the third place match. Start doing a reset, get you ready for 195 pounds weight class. Quickly, we are 3 matches away from being over. I tell you, it's been a lot of fireworks here. Some matches that we pretty much kind of knew who was going to win, and those things have gone status quo. A couple matches with some fireworks here. It's going to take us into 195 pounds. We have number 1 seed Cole Mirasola. We just saw Connor Mirasola go ahead and win the championship by fall from West Bend West. State champion last year. Only lost this year was at the Dan Gable. He lost to Braden Thompson. He's the number 1 nationally ranked wrestler at 195 pounds. I wish I could get a score on that, but Cole Mirasola is ranked 6th in the nation, so lost the number 1 ranked wrestler last week by Flow Wrestling. He's going to be wrestling Ben Kienbaum from Kiel. Ben Kienbaum, a sophomore, was a state qualifier last year. Just want to see Cole Mirasola. Cole Mirasola's last week has 1 loss as well. He lost to Gabe Arnold, the number 4th ranked wrestler in the nation by Flow Wrestling. So both Cole and Connor last week at the Donnybrook ended up getting their first loss of the year, but now we're here at the Battle in the Bay. Cole Mirasola and Ben Kienbaum from Kiel. Like I said, pretty impressive as a sophomore, Ben Kienbaum, being just a sophomore, only a sophomore, and being in the finals at a pretty tough tournament. That's impressive. Ben Kienbaum looking over there. He's no stranger to the weight room. Looking at that big barrel of a chest and those quads. Looks like he spent some time squatting some small cars.
Yeah, for young guys put together, right?
Take a look at Cole Mirasola. I know last year.
Who did Mirasola lose to this year, Steve? Did you already mention that?
Yeah, I just mentioned that. Lost to the Dan Gable Classic, I believe it is. Lost to Braden Thompson. Nope. Yeah, there's Cole. Lost to Braden Thompson. You know, if you want to know his resume, he's the number 1 nationally ranked wrestler at 195 pounds, so not too shabby. Cole Mirasola is ranked 6th in the nation. I want to do some quick searching here. I'd love to see what the score of that match was.
Yeah, I just was wondering about that.
I'm not going to be able to find it, unfortunately. Well, I could. Yeah, if you chat, I could go do some searching here.
All right, we're set for the 195-pound finals. Both wrestlers waiting by the scoring table. Like a couple of stallions ready to run, right?
Yeah. Well, you talk about mentally what's going through your head. What are you're a sophomore, you're thinking, all right, I'm going against a guy that's a state champion and he's nationally ranked. Now you talk about what's going through his head.
Well, you know, back when we were wrestling, we didn't have access to the internet, so usually I had no idea who I was going against. I was better off.
What do you mean you didn't have access to the internet? There was no internet.
That's my point. So ignorance was bliss. You didn't know, you didn't know who you were wrestling, how good they were, and so sometimes that was an advantage because you couldn't get psyched out.
Hey, thanks, Coach Millard, Coach Ernie Millard from Homestead's listening. And as I'm trying to do the searching, he messages me he lost by 2 to the number 1 ranked wrestler.
Well, there we go.
In the country. So,
all right.
Ernie Millard, appreciate you, buddy.
Checks in the mail.
And Ernie saves me a lot of time trying to have to figure out how to use the internet. So.
Well, Cole Mirasola on the attack with a low outside single. Takes the head, throws Kienbaum to the mat. Taking charge early. Working a cradle. Cuts Kienbaum loose.
Yep.
A junior with a 9-1 record from West Bend West, Cole Mirasola.
Yeah, Mirasola again, dominant early in this match.
Mirasola just calmly flicks over the green ankle band.
Yeah, he's got a nice low single, outside single attack.
Yeah, they're very controlled, right? I mean, they're strong. They move slick, but everything's under control, right?
Right.
We saw Jacob Ward before.
Yeah, nice reshot on Kienbaum's part. Good for him.
Right? It's kind of a style, right? Jacob Ward's just kind of free and out there, and the Mirasola brothers just kind of, they do their job. Calm, cool, and collective.
I think one of the things about these better wrestlers that we've seen tonight is just great footwork. An ability just to change levels, to be light on their feet. When they get involved in those scrambles or those flurries, right, to reposition themselves.
Cole Mirasola, like his brother, tech-falled his way into the finals here. He beats Brennan Kincaid from De Pere.
Who's working a tilt right now. Scores 10-4. Going to go on with a commanding lead at the close of the first period.
Well, get this. In 2 minutes and 42 seconds, he tech-falled his semifinal opponent. Kienbaum a little bit closer, a little bit tighter to get here. Won 3-2 over Braden Zollner from Elkhorn. So that was a little bit tighter. There he is. Underhook. Comes on down to that single. Gets a quick two, lets him go.
And Mirasola now with a commanding 16-5 lead. He's going to let Kienbaum go.
Cole Mirasola, for 195 pounds, obviously the brothers got to decide which one's going to be at 82, which one's going to be 95. Most of that cradle. But he had an impressive state tournament last year. He beat some good wrestlers. Spencer Bruton from Appleton West, strong wrestler. Joseph Behrens was probably his most impressive win, I thought, 14-4 over him. Joseph Behrens is one strong individual. It looks like he's chiseled from granite. And then in the finals beat Gabe Klatt from Beaver Dam, 13-5 in a major decision. Gabe Klatt, unfortunately, is out for the year with a knee football injury. So Klatt will not be back. But Cole Mirasola really impressed me last year with his state performance.
Well, he's hitting on all cylinders here tonight, Steve. In total control of this match. Kienbaum seems a little shell-shocked and hesitant. Mirasola in deep on a double.
Well, we talked about Kienbaum and being impressed, being a freshman, 195 pounds, and making the finals to the Battle of the Bay. Last year was a state qualifier as well. Only had one match in state. Lost to Caden Weber from Regis Altoona by major decision. So experience down at the Cole Center as a freshman. Mirasola is going to take down his choice. He's got to switch it around there, Cole. Kienbaum lets him go.
Scores 22-8.
Quick takedown should do it.
Just a well wrestled match by Mirasola.
Tech ball, 14 seconds into the third period. Yeah, good job, Kienbaum. Did back down, right? I mean, tech fall against the number 6 ranked wrestler in the nation.
Yeah, to be a sophomore, 11-0 coming into the finals.
We're back on Mirasola, man. I mean,
yeah, both brothers are the real deal.
I would like to see the practice room with those two. That'd be kind of fun.
That would be dynamite. Yeah, we should ask them to do an exhibition after tonight. I think people would stay around to watch that.
Charge admission to that one. That'd be fun. Yeah. 2 weight classes left. There, Damian.
Well, yeah. We've got Green Bay United, Curtis
Downey. Yep.
He's a senior. He's got a record of 5-0, going against Brock Arndt from Appleton North, a junior with a record of 6-0. Brock's ranked third in state.
And I talked about this. We did a podcast previewing the Battle on the Bay, and Curtis Downey. This is a big one. He was my pick to win this one. Not outright, obviously. We alternated picks, but I went with Curtis Downey, and I talked about this. I think this is big for the Green Bay United wrestling program. They've been down for many years. They haven't had that solid kind of wrestler, and Curtis Downey, along with a couple others, are guys that you can build a program around, right? I mean, the program should look and say, hey, we have a finalist in the Battle of the Bay. Hey, we have a guy, this guy potentially could make the state tournament. Not having a qualifier for many years, it starts to get set in, maybe in a school, maybe a program like, oh, we don't get qualifiers, we're just this. But you get a kid like Curtis Downey, kids start to kind of rally around that, and you'll probably watch, and the kids will all be in the corner, and they'll be up cheering for this kid, and they don't feel like just Curtis Downey made the finals, they feel like we made the finals, or hey, we can qualify for state. Like I said, these are little building blocks that programs can kind of unite a program on, and then take that next step. So, regardless of what happens here, I'm pretty proud of Curtis Downey for getting here. And, hey, go after it against Brock Arndt, who's a really tough wrestler. He took third at state last year in a really, really tough weight class.
Yeah, good point. Downey, well-rounded young man, good student, has a 3.5 GPA. And then the offseason, he's a rugby player, plays for the Green Bay Leprechauns. So be interesting to see his athleticism here tonight as a 220-pounder. Brock Arndt from Appleton North. Interesting with Appleton, different than Green Bay, right? But, again, a larger system. Trying to reestablish themselves maybe a little bit in terms of the program down there. Brock Arndt, conference champ, regional champ, sectional champ, third at state last year, so he's got some good experience.
Well, Scotty Clough at Appleton North, he's been there for, I'm going to take a guess and say 15 years. It's around that, but he's done a great job with that program. Appleton North last year had 4 state qualifiers, 2 place winners, one of them being Brock Arndt. Took third place at 195 pounds, and in my opinion, it was probably one of the tougher weight classes at the state tournament. Brock Arndt did lose to Joseph Behrens, who I mentioned earlier, but had big wins against Ryan Rambo, Spencer Bruton, Roman Martell from Oshkosh West. And then that big win over previous year state place winner Caden Hooker in that third place match. Caden Hooker being from Wanakee. So once again, Appleton North is a program that's definitely on the rise. But Appleton North's kind of stuck in that Fox Valley area. You got Kaukauna, you got Kimberly, you got Nita. They're trying to establish themselves as a tough program, but you're being battle tested every single time you step on the mat.
Steve, let's check the team score as we come into the final 2 matches of the night. Let's see how things are shaping up.
Looks like Luxembourg Casco, unfortunately for Bayport fans, is kind of running away with it a little bit.
Yeah, 481 for LC compared to 468.
Head coach Andy Crivolone walking
Bayport.
by us right now. They do call the chair rule the Andy Crivolone rule. I did get a text. I did. Andy's wife messaged him. He said they must have called the chair rule the Andy Crivolone rule because high energy coaches like him.
It's the highest honor a coach can receive right there.
Well, at least his wife's watching the feed, right?
That's right.
All right, wrestlers come to the table. Brock Arndt and Curtis Downey.
All right, friends, here we go. Home stretch. Sometimes these upper weights can go quick, so fasten your seatbelts.
Yep. Don't blink with the big boys. Well, as Damian goes ahead and chats here, I'll find how these guys got here.
Yeah, so Downey and Arndt locking up.
Brock Arndt got here by fall over Lucas Leesgang from Seymour, and Curtis Downey took the tough approach. He got a 6-4 victory over Ryan Mazer from McGuanago. Mazer, good wrestler from a top program like McGuanago. I just mentioned that with Green Bay West. That's a big win for the program at Green Bay United.
Aren't using his length to his advantage there. Going with a heel pick, takedown.
Pretty mean crossface on top, wasn't it, Coach?
Yeah. Those long arms, long legs. Arn appears to have some power, working arm bar.
Yeah, he just wheeled that arm bar, did he?
Yes. He's got the wrist. He's gonna run it. Downey in trouble here.
Yeah.
To your earlier point about trying to reestablish a program, you have to wonder about, the training room, right? And how do you get quality competition for someone like Downey to prepare him for these opportunities? 30 seconds left in the first period.
Nice bridge by Downey there.
Yeah.
You'll ride it tough.
A good fight on Downey's part. Bridge out of that. Come back to his base.
Looking at 10. Aren't this long, isn't he?
Yeah.
He was a big 95-pounder, and he's definitely filling in properly to 220. Looks like he might have the option to possibly go down to 95. Obviously, he's a big kid, but Arndt will defer. Downey takes down.
Yeah. Is that a surprise to you?
A little bit. Thought he maybe tries Avenue on top.
Yeah, given how tough Arndt rode him first period, I would have expected a different choice, but we'll see how it works out for him here.
Right. I just like to give my guys, if they were being dominated in the down position, say, hey, let's see how we do on top, right?
Right.
In this case, we're already down 5-0. That Brock's got that tough arm bar. And as impressive as Brock Arndt's bar arm is, Curtis Downey's bridge is impressive as well.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing.
I don't know if that's a good sign, though, to be known as. I'm good at getting off my back, right?
My neck was hurting just watching it. Got a minute left here in the second period. Arndt with a fairly commanding lead, 7-0. Downey's battling.
He is battling, isn't he?
Yeah.
He's kind of working that base up. He's not laying flat. I always like that. That's a character test, right? I always like that when you see kids that are losing and they keep wrestling.
Right. Yeah, and Arndt is being relentless with that arm bar. So
yes. Yep, there it goes again.
20
That's
seconds. We'll
tight.
see if Downey can.
Yeah.
Okay, there's your fall, folks. Brock Arndt.
15 seconds left, second period.
The winner by fall on mat 3. And your 220
Brock Arndt is your 2022 Battle of the Bay champion.
Up to the north, I think their first champ of the night, if I'm not mistaken.
It is, yep.
It's a good way to end for their program.
Which, Coach, takes us to the final match of the evening. As quickly as we started, quickly as we finish.
Yep, Big Von Campbell from Bayport, ranked 6th in state. He's a senior with a 9-0 record. State qualifier last year. Troy Dietzer is his opponent, another senior with an 8-1 record from Ashwaubenon, sectional qualifier.
I can only imagine these two are familiar with each other.
I believe so.
Same conference, correct? Still?
Right,
Okay.
That's right.
I know that since I moved south part of the state, they've kind of shaken the conferences up. But there's no way you can take Bayport and Ashwaubenon away from each other.
No, good rivalry. Proximity makes sense. Crowd is starting to clear out a little bit.
Usually do for the big boys. I like the Bayport singlets. That's a.
Now those are new.
What color do you call that?
That's a great question. It's almost seems like a North Carolina,
like a
style of blue, but
powder blue.
It's not the navy blue, which
All
is more our tradition.
I don't want to say baby blue because that's
no.
You don't want to.
No,
that's not tough enough to do that. All right. Well, let's look at Vaughn Campbell, the senior from Bayport. How did he get here? He won by a fall over Grant Stromberg from McGuanago in 5 minutes and 18 seconds.
Vaughn Campbell had quite a football season.
Did he? Yeah, Bayport had quite a football season. Lost in the state semis.
Correct. Yeah.
Who did they lose to?
Oh goodness, McGuanago.
Was it McGuanago?
Kimberly. I'm sorry, Kimberly. Yes.
We don't
McGuanago's made it to state against Kimberly.
And Troy Dietzer had an impressive fall over Talon Summers from Franklin in 1 minute and 48 seconds. The big fellas. Only 2 ranked wrestlers in the state this year coming out of at the Battle of the Bay for heavyweight. So, as far as rankings go, not as deep of a weight class.
No, these are 2 good-looking heavyweights, Steve. They both look athletic, strong.
Probably played some football.
I think so. Yeah, in the case of Dietzler, second team all-conference football.
In Bayport, we were talking about your weight room earlier, which is extremely impressive. That's, Bayport's got a pretty good history of NFL guys, right? For football, obviously most recently Ingold and a couple others. I saw the jerseys up there, but having weight rooms like that definitely helps that tradition.
Yeah, I know Coach Westerman, when we were designing the weight room, we had the opportunity to go out and see some of the best weight rooms in the country. Again, our sponsors helped make that possible and brought those design elements back. And I know Coach Westerman worked with the Green Bay Packers in terms of just showing them the design and getting feedback. So it's great to have those assets in the community to support us. Cole Van Lannen down at Jacksonville, left tackle for them. And, of course, Alec Ingold playing for the Miami Dolphins.
All right, here we go at heavyweight. 2 wrestlers that probably pretty familiar with each other. High schools, as a crow flies, I imagine, are less than 10 miles from each other.
Yeah, speaking of the weight room and those 2 players they just mentioned, Alec Ingold was a state champion.
Yes, he was.
Yep, so great to see, and Coach Westerman and Coach Shevchik really promote this, being a multi-sport athlete, not specializing. There are aspects of wrestling that complement football and vice versa. So
both these wrestlers ranked by the Wisconsin Grappler rankings. Vaughn Campbell, number 6 for Bayport. Troy Dietzer at Schwabenheim is ranked 10th.
Place match results in 220. Winning the 5th place match by fall, Caden Kershaw, Wausau West, 3 minutes.
I was in the wrestling room last year, and I had a chance to talk to Vaughn, and I said, who's the most inspiring coach? We had several coaches in the room, and just pointed to Coach Shevchik and said, he's the man.
Is it?
He just said he really inspires me to bring my best to the wrestling room.
Who's the coach over in the chair over there that looks like his arms are bigger than most people's heads?
It's Coach Hansen.
Okay.
Coach Hansen, yep.
That's a big dude over there.
He is. A lot of energy, a lot of positive energy. Teacher here at Bayport. What
does he teach?
Works with our
heavyweights into the table.
Heavyweights into the table. Wow. It's exciting.
Bodies hit the floor.
That brought the crowd to its feet.
Yeah, the crowd's liking it.
Woke people up.
Jacob Ward's liking it over there.
We'll see if it got Vaughn Campbell going here. We'll see what kind of response. About 20 seconds left here in the first period. Pummeling for position.
Look out, ladies. Yep.
Look out.
Be on your toes. As Schwabenon managers over here are going to put on some roller skates so they can be moving a little better. Snap down. We got 10 seconds left.
Both wrestlers really battling for position here.
Looks like we're going to end the first period tied 0-0.
I believe Vaughn is relatively new to the sport, if I'm not mistaken. I don't think he has a long history in the sport, so he's made a lot of progress in a short period of time. And Coach Hansen, probably one of those guys that saw him in the hallway one day and said, "Hey,
right, you come out or else I'll take my big arm pythons and choke you out." Right?
That's right.
I'm sorry. What did you say he coaches? Or teaches. I asked that, and then all that action happened.
He works with our students that are in need of some additional support and assistance. So he's had a great patience and temperament.
Awesome.
With them, and is a role model in that regard. So Vaughn fighting off a power half here on the part of Dietzler. I didn't see who chose. Did you catch who won the
I did not. Wow, that's power right there.
Yep.
Getting up to a quad pod.
Yep.
Watch out for the knee.
Yep.
Locked hands.
Locked hands, so it'll be
that's
a point for Vaughn.
For Vaughn.
I thought he was going to come out of there and score an escape on top of that.
Right. Locked hands is as good as an escape. Now if he goes ahead and gets an escape here, could be up by 2.
Dietzler trying to use his size to his advantage, riding pretty high. Vaughn bridging up.
Oh, that's a locked hands. Yeah, didn't catch it.
Yeah, didn't call it.
That's a tough one. As a ref, I tell you, watching hands underneath there, you can't tell whose is whose, and you got to second guess. Make sure you got the right call. There's a cradle.
There's a cradle.
Coming, bringing
Campbell's
it back.
in trouble. Oh, boy.
There's going to be some swipes.
Vaughn's in trouble here. 40 seconds.
Post that elbow on his face. Feel the hands. Dietzler's got the 3.
That's the problem with that tripod stand-up. If your head's down, you open yourself up to a cradle. And
got to keep the head up. 20 seconds left, 3-1.
Well, that changes the complexion a little bit as we head into the second period.
Right, if I'm thinking it's going to go how it is, that Dietzler does get choice. And looking at the size advantage and the size of those quads, he's definitely going to take down. Gosh, what do you think Dietzler goes? He's got to be pushing 270, huh?
I think so. And he carries it well.
Does.
I got to believe he's 15, 20 pounds bigger or heavier than Vaughn.
Assistant referee, Mr. Shevchuk, was in great position to watch for that locked hands, as the assistant referee should do on his job. Did he take neutral?
Yes.
He did?
He did.
Who took neutral?
I believe it was Campbell, Vaughn Campbell. Yep.
Two Bucks trying to establish dominance. Ref's giving some personal instructions. Dietzler does a good job with that. Reaches those 2 hands up, snaps down, locks him behind the neck.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see if there's a potential for a stalling call here. I guess Dietzler did a nice job of rotating back in. Campbell with a shot near the edge of the mat.
We said, hey, let's hit the scoring table on the other side. Why don't we match it by this side, right?
We better keep our heads up and not look down over here. They could end up on our table. Good snap down
He
from
does
Dietzen.
do a good job. And that snap down weighs on you. By the time the third period comes and your head's been snapped down 20 times, it feels like a jackhammer by the time the third period hits.
Got just over a minute left. This is time for Campbell to get to work if he hopes to tie this score.
We got to assume these two are in the same sectional, so probably going to see each other again. Maybe the same regional. Nice. Oh, don't get under those hips, though. Dietzer's going to spin it around. That's a lot of weight to recover from. Puts Campbell right to his back. Not looking good. And Dietzer,
wow,
with the fall to become your heavyweight 2022 Battle in the Bay champion.
Campbell set it up nicely, but just got stuffed, and Dietzen used his mass to
That's a lot of weight to be underneath.
Yep.
Especially in the third period. And why don't you go ahead and give a rundown before we sign off, give a rundown of the top 5 teams for the championship, and we'll do a sign-up.
Yeah, Luxembourg Casco is your champion of the 2022 Battle of the Bay tournament. 32 teams. They scored 481 points. Bayport with a great tournament. Here at home, the host school, 468.5 points. Number 3 is McGuanago at 395 points. Germantown coming in at number 4 with 360.5 points. And rounding out your top 5 is West Bend West with 284 points. So great tournament, well run.
Well, Damian, it was a lot of fun working with you. First time you and I got to work together. Superintendent of the Bayport School District. It was an awesome job.
Thanks, Steve. My
bet.
pleasure. It'd be remiss if I didn't thank Ryan Shefchek, tournament manager, and all of our volunteers, coaches, fans, and teams that were here today. So it's going to be a great season.
Absolutely.
We're off to a good start.
All right, here we go.
Take care, everyone. Thank you.